Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Damijey and I'm a board certified endocrinologist. Today I want to talk about a condition called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and how it relates with the body weight and your metabolism. If you've been diagnosed with PCOS or you know anyone who has recently been diagnosed with this condition and they're struggling with their weight, their metabolism, or how their diet interplays with their diagnosis, I want you to know that you're not imagining it and this is a real phenomenon of PCOS. I'm going to explain in very simple terms how your metabolism, your weight, and your energy levels are all interconnected with this diagnosis. By the end of this video, I'm sure that you're going to feel very empowered about your diagnosis and you're going to know exactly what next steps you can take to help to improve your overall health. Let's go. So most people are told that PCOS is a condition that affects their ovaries. It can lead to, cysts on the ovaries, or it can lead to infertility. However, PCOS is a very, very broad condition. It can affect your metabolism, it can affect your insulin levels, it can affect your fertility, and it can lead to conditions like acne, hirsutism, which is excess facial hair or even hair all over the body. When we talk about PCOS, we're not just talking about your periods or your monthly cycles. We're talking about the whole human body. We're talking about how your hormones are balanced from head to toe. And one of the biggest players in PCOS is the hormone called insulin. So insulin is the hormone that helps to move blood sugar, that helps to move glucose from your bloodstream into your cells so that the cells can use it as energy. I would like to use a very simple analogy. Let's think about insulin as a key and the cells as a door. So insulin is the key that unlocks the door so that blood glucose can go in. In patients that have PCOS, there is extreme insulin resistance, meaning that the key no longer opens the door. So the door stays shut, and what does the body do? It tries to produce more and more insulin in an attempt to get the door to open so that the glucose can be taken out of your bloodstream into the cells where it is actually needed for energy. At first glance, everything might look fine, like your blood sugars are looking fine on the labs, your A1C is fine, everything looks fine, but beneath it, there's a lot of metabolic stress that is already going on. The pancreas is already working extra hard to produce extra insulin, and when this insulin is produced in excess amount, it does three major things. One, it causes your body to store glucose as fats, so it makes you gain weight. It also makes it more difficult for you to lose weight because your body is extremely resistant to this insulin. And another thing it does is it increases your cravings. You're constantly hungry, constantly craving carby and sugary meals. And all of this, when put together, can make it very difficult for a person that has PCOS to lose weight. So even when you're exercising, you're working out, you're eating right, your hormone, especially the insulin, is working against you. And this is a very important factor in patients that have PCOS. When insulin levels are high in the body is basically in storage mode. It holds on to every energy instead of releasing it. On top of that, insulin resistance can lead to rapid swinging in your blood sugars, which can cause fatigue, excess craving for carbs, and just an intense desire for constant nutrition. Another thing that can happen is your cortisol level. The cortisol level can rise, which can lead to things like, anxiety. It can lead to things like stress, and it can also begin to affect your sleep. So as you can see, we're already in this catch-22 phase where things are in a constant loop. You have a high energy, you have a high cortisol level because of your insulin resistance, which leads to poor sleep, which eventually leads to hunger and cravings and more food, which makes it much more difficult for people that have PCOS to lose weight. So when someone that has PCOS is being told, all you have to do is just lose weight or eat more, eat less calories in, more calories out, it is just not a very good advice because it is not addressing the hormonal challenges that people with this condition are already going through. It ignores your natural biology. It doesn't address the underlying stress that, patients with PCOS actually face on a day-to-day basis. So now that we have addressed the underlying pathophysiology of PCOS, how can a person with PCOS actually improve their life and help with their weight and all of that? Firstly, the most important thing, it's still lifestyle. It's not an extreme lifestyle, but it is important for a person that has PCOS to be mindful of the kind of nutrition that they feed their body with. You want to make sure that your diet is rich in protein and fiber, things that can help to prevent the rapid swinging of your blood sugars. Strength training exercises is another very important factor in regulating insulin resistance. Think about it that when you do strength training exercise, you build up your muscle. The muscle acts like a sponge that can help to soak up glucose, thereby decreasing the amount of work that the pancreas has to do to produce insulin to soak up that glucose. Sleep and stress management are not optional. It is important to get good quality sleep every night and to also avoid things that causes stress. If you have a very highly stressful job, you might want to consider ways to mitigate those stresses. For some other people, lifestyle management is just not enough, and it doesn't mean that you're failed. It just means that we need to address the problem at its root cause. So if you have tried lifestyle modification, you've adjusted your diet, you're exercising, you're doing all the good stuff, and you're still very insulin resistant and the weight is not bulging, this might be the time where you will need to incorporate medical therapy. Some medications like metformin can actually help to regulate the glucose level in the bloodstream. GLP-1 medications like Ozempic and Mounjaro can also help significantly to regulate your appetite, help with cravings, and also regulate your metabolism. In some other patients, very extreme insulin resistance, there might be need for you to consider long-term solutions like surgical interventions. Surgeries like bariatric surgery, sleeve gastrectomies have been shown to significantly improve insulin resistance, especially in patients that have PCOS and significant obesity. There is not a single plan that works for everybody. PCOS care and management should be individualized, not copy and paste. I really want to say this again clearly for all my patients and all my followers that have PCOS. PCOS is not your fault. It is not something that you caused, and the fact that you're struggling with weight doesn't mean that you lack discipline. And if you need medication, medical interventions to help you to get to your goal weight or to help improve your metabolism, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It just means your hormones are working against you, and it is important that you get the help that you need. There is no shame in seeking help. When we treat PCOS as a metabolic and hormonal condition that it is, outcomes improve, health improves, and finally patients feel heard. If this video helped you to understand your PCOS better or your body better in general, please click like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I post videos weekly explaining and going into details on hormones and especially metabolic health for women. Also, I've linked my socials here. I have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Let me know if you have any questions. Please feel free to drop it in the comment section. My name is Dr. Damijey and I'm a board certified endocrinologist. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.